From my perspective, Silent Hill has always played second fiddle to Resident Evil. While being popular in its own regard, it never seemed to attract the same degree of interest as its contemporary. Partially, I think, because the subtext of the game often tends to be much darker and deal with much more unsettling topics than the action-orientated Resident Evil. The Silent Hill franchise has always leaned more into instilling a sense of fear in its player base, be that in the form of tight, uncomfortable interiors, oppressive fog, or harsh camera angles. The game has always been about creating an atmosphere of fear beyond just scary monsters. Silent Hill 2 upped the ante by incorporating the story into James's own mental state, and how such a state could translate into the story the developers were trying to tell. PT, the teaser for an undeveloped Silent Hill game, still to this day is one of the scariest horror experiences in video games, dealing with subjects such as the inescapability of guilt and the desensitization of violence to continue the franchise's long legacy of exploring these darker themes with distressing and upsetting imagery. So when I see a warning like this on the Silent Hill F Steam page, I think two things. The first being that the developers, even after all this time, are focused on creating a game that truly feels and looks horrifying, and that they are also very aware of the effect that this could have on many players. Horror is an emotionally driven genre. It's meant to instill a sense of fear, anxiety, disgust, anger even, all kinds of emotions that may very well lead to negative or even self-deprecating thoughts. Especially since the first thing the game warns you about is gender discrimination and child abuse. In a world that is so much more aware of both local and global injustices, I think that it has become even more important to ensure that people are aware of the kinds of subject material your game will be covering in its story, especially in a genre like horror. And at the same time, all the more important that we tell stories that deal with these harsher subjects and put them into historical context. Japan in the 1960s was not a good place to be if you were a woman, a student, or a member of the LGBTQ community, which the main character, Shimizu Hanako, checks at least two of those three boxes. The onus of telling a good story lies ultimately in the hands of the writers and the developers. The onus of understanding the story rests with us, the players. If we want to see higher quality writing in video games, we have to be equipped with the tools and the context in order to understand the full meaning behind what the game is trying to say. If we can't read any deeper than surface-level stories of surviving monsters, then there's no point in telling stories with any deeper meaning. Here's hoping that Silent Hill F can truly deliver the kind of gaming experience we expect. Follow for more and check @followertoshi on all other platforms.